He drew me a map. I'm sure everything will turn out great. It started hailing. I know that if I have to turn around, at least it's downhill. Welcome to San Juan County, and what an interesting place we're getting ready to explore. As you can see, we're here at the Red Mountain Pass at a little over 11,000 feet. This is where we enter into San Juan County from the north. Eureka was a little bit behind us, so if you watched the $1 Million Highway video with Eureka, you'd have seen a little bit of San Juan County at the beginning, because that's where Silverton was, and then the very beginning of the $1 Million Highway. So we're going to drive down to Silverton and explore that. But before we get down there, let me tell you a little bit about San Juan County's history. San Juan County is the least populated county in all of Colorado, with 705 people at the 2020 census. It's named after the San Juan River, which is Spanish for St. John. Long before European settlement, the area was regularly explored by the Anasazi and later the Utes, who hunted and lived in the San Juan Mountains during the summer. There's also speculation that Spanish explorers and fur traders ventured into the area in the 1600s and 1700s. Permanent settlement in the area surrounding present-day San Juan County began in 1860, near the end of the Colorado Gold Rush. After the Bruneau Agreement with the Utes in 1873, which exchanged 4 million acres for the Southern Ute Reservation, several mining camps were constructed. These would later become the communities of Howardsville, Eureka, and Silverton. San Juan County was formed in January of 1876 from a part of La Plata County. The same year, Colorado became the 38th state. The region boomed after silver was discovered along Hurricane Peak outside of Eureka, which will be there later today. Gold was then discovered in 1882, which helped the county weather the Panic of 1893 far better than other mining communities in the state. Sunnyside Mine would become one of Colorado's longest-running and most productive mines. The mine shut down after the 1929 stock market crash, but was acquired by Standard Metals Corporation in 1959 and reopened, finding gold in 1973. The county's economy was dealt a devastating blow in 1992 when the mine and the corresponding mill, the last operating in the region, permanently closed. The closure meant the end of jobs for over one-third of the county's workforce. When you look at the population, it's very interesting. You see how it peaked there in 1910. That would have been when the mining was really going at 3,000. Dropped off all the way down to 558 in 2000. That would have been right after the mine closed in 1992, but recently has gone back up, and you can see over 800 in the 2025 estimated population. And that's probably because tourism is becoming a more significant part of this county, and so that's good to see. It's on the up and up. Here is San Juan County. I've kind of outlined it here in the blue highlighter that also goes kind of green, but so that's the outline of it all the way down here. And so you can kind of see there's not too many main roads. We're starting right up here, and we're going to drive down this way into Silverton. Going to explore in these mountains, and then we're going to head down towards the southern part of the county at the end of the video. Such a beautiful drive coming down the $1 Million Highway, and before we get to Silverton, this is on my map what it says Chattanooga. And we're going to find all kinds of old mining towns, ghost towns in this county. And this would be, I guess you call it the first one. Not sure as much of a town, more just a mining operation. But yeah, with San Juan County, obviously the history of mining is so significant. And cool to see some old remnants here as we're getting the trip started. And there's a couple things across the street, but not much left of Chattanooga. Almost to Silverton down the road. I'm going to stop off here and just check out Columbine Roadhouse Hotel and Venue. Nice, classic, old-looking, rustic building. But it looks pretty interesting. They're selling peaches. And they got a greenhouse dispensary, but it also says space for rent, so maybe they're out of business. Welcome to Silverton. In 1874, Silverton was established as a mining camp. It was named after the rich silver deposits discovered in the surrounding mountains. 1874 and 1875, thousands of miners, merchants, and entrepreneurs poured into the area. Log cabins, tents, saloons, boarding houses, and businesses quickly transformed the camp into a permanent town. I mentioned how San Juan County was created in January of 1876. That was created by the Colorado Territorial Legislature, and Silverton became the county seat several months later, right before Colorado achieved statehood. By 1879, Silverton had a population of roughly 3,000 residents, making it one of Colorado's busiest mountain mining towns. 1882, the Denver and Rio Grande Railroad reached Silverton, dramatically reducing transportation costs and allowing ore and supplies to move more efficiently. The railroad fueled another mining boom and connected the isolated town with Durango. 1885, Silverton officially incorporated. Many of the brick commercial buildings that stand in the downtown area were constructed during this period. In the 1880s and 1890s, Silverton reached its greatest prosperity. Mines throughout the district produced enormous amounts of silver, gold, lead, zinc, and copper, supporting thousands of residents and dozens of surrounding mining camps. By the 1930s to the 1950s, mining remained an important employer, but tourism gradually became a larger part of the local economy as visitors came to experience the historic town and mountain scenery. By the 1960s all the way through the 80s, many major mines permanently closed as ore reserves declined and mining became less profitable. Tourism increasingly replaced mining as the economic foundation of Silverton. Starting in the 1990s till today, Silverton has preserved much of its Victorian-era downtown and mining heritage. It's well known for the Durango and Silverton Narrow Gauge Railroad. It's the only incorporated town left in San Juan County. When you look at the population, it kind of mirrors the county that I showed earlier. They peaked in 1910 with 2150. That was actually smaller than it was in the late 1800s, but did peak officially there in 1910, went down just like the rest of the county, and then it's going back up again slightly. And 622 at the last census is fairly low in its history, but higher than it was 20 years ago. Before we head off into the mountains, we're going to stop here at the San Juan County Historical Society and Mining Heritage Center, and they have a old jail here. It's one of the two buildings. So I'm going to do another video just about this museum because there's a lot to see, and I didn't want to slow down this video as we want to get off into the mountains, but a lot of awesome stuff here. The Animas Forks jail, keep that in mind because we're going to see that later in our trip. So there's the jail side of the museum, and then you go underground into the mine, and they have a whole bunch of mining history. So very interesting place to check out, highly recommended. And like I said, there'll be another video coming out at some point about this museum. And we're done with the one incorporated town in San Juan County. But what an awesome town. Silverton is a great place. I stayed the night in Eureka and drove over here, and this would be an awesome place to hang out for the weekend and just to be in the town. So very cool. That museum, you could spend an entire day looking through all the stuff. So really highly recommended to come check out Silverton. Now we're going to head up into the mountains and find some ghost towns and take part of the Alpine Loop. And it's, I think, it'll be quite the adventure. You know, you don't want to take a regular car up there. It's going to be rocky. It's going to be up to almost 13,000 feet where we're going today. and maybe some one-lane roads, and not because they didn't have time or energy to do it, because there wasn't space for 2 lanes. So we'll see what that's like. And it's tough when you don't know exactly where you're going. But I asked the guy in the museum, and he drew me a map. I'm sure everything will turn out great with this map. He told me I'd be fine in my vehicle, but we will see. But let's go ahead and get started. You can see where we came down the $1 Million Highway through Chattanooga into Silverton. And now we're going to head into the mountains. Gonna see the dots on the map: Howardsville, Middleton, Eureka, and then there's a little dot up there, Animas Forks, and that'll be a really cool ghost town to find. This is the historic ghost town of Eureka. And you can see as we pull in, they have a campground and a store. Nice to see you're able to stop here and either stay the night or get a few things. You'll see less and less of this as we go on through our day, but there's a guy named Charlie Baker, and he had a group of prospectors that found traces of placer gold in the San Juan Mountains here in around 1860. So they were forced out in 1861 by the Ute tribe, who had been awarded the area in a U.S. treaty. And then the prospectors returned in 1871 when gold was found nearby. The miners were allowed to stay after the Bruneau Treaty of 1873 I mentioned earlier. The Eureka Post Office operated here from 1875 until 1942. The original mill was closed, but to replace it, a mill from Animas Forks, which we're going to be heading to next, was deconstructed and moved to the Eureka town site to become the Sunnyside Mill. In 1896, Eureka was connected to the Denver and Rio Grande Railroad via the Silverton Northern Railroad. Although the community grew steadily, it quickly declined after 1939 when the Sunnyside Mill closed. Nice little informational sign here. Started in Silverton. We've made it to Eureka. So we're gonna go up to Animas Forks, take the California Gulch, and then down to Gladstone. So you can kind of see where that road goes, and then back to Silverton. I think this is where it's gonna get a little tougher. They even give you a little notice here. Four-wheel drive or high clearance recommended. That's what we have. Letting faster drivers go by is important. This part right here isn't too bad, but most of it is a whole bunch of stuff like that. This is Burns Gulch, and pretty cool. See that over there? And below us you can see where the road came in and went. Actually, that road looks better than this road. And then there's a bridge right there. They crossed and got their work done. Pretty cool. We're about halfway between Eureka and Animas Forks. We're now approaching one of the most fascinating ghost towns I've ever been to, and it's Animas Forks. Remember the jail earlier in the museum in Silverton? Well, this is the jail where that door was from. So this is kind of the first thing you see when you roll into town. A lot more to see as we go up the hill to the main part of town. So the first log cabin was built here in 1873, and the Animas Forks post office opened in 1875. By statehood in 1876, the community had become a bustling mining community with 30 cabins, a hotel, a general store, and a saloon. By 1883, 450 people lived here in Animas Forks, and every fall, the residents would migrate to the warmer town of Silverton. You can imagine living up here in the winter would have been pretty rough. So when mining profits began to decline, the investment in the town was no longer justified. The Silverton Northern Railroad built to the area in 1896 and simulated interest in mining in the community again, but the railroad never reached its expectations. The Gold Prince mine closed in 1910, and the Animas Forks post office closed in 1915. By 1917, most of the mill's major parts were removed for the new facility in Eureka. The mill's dismantling signaled the beginning of the end for Animas Forks, and it was a ghost town by the 1920s. In 2011, the town was listed on the National Register of Historic Places. In the winter of 1875 and 76, over 27 feet of snow fell here. Winter residents had to build snow tunnels to their houses. Man, unbelievable. For the 1870s, this would have been a mansion. Watch the hole. Leaving Animas Forks, we're gonna go higher into the mountains in some treacherous roads over towards Gladstone. That'll be kind of coming back down the mountain, and that'll take us back to Silverton. It started hailing. Well, I think I'm gonna sit here for a little bit. I know there was a possibility for a storm, but not till later, but I'm right here at the base of where you would climb up to the California Pass, so I know that if I have to turn around, at least it's downhill. So I'll sit here for a little while and see what happens. Got some hail going on. Feels like the blue skies are moving towards me, but hard to tell sometimes. I can see the top of the pass right up there. I think there's some people up there. Yeah, almost there. We're gonna make it. There's where we just were, up at California Pass. We're gonna go back up that way a little bit. And this way is called Poughkeepsie, if you go that way. It's supposed to be a really difficult trail and only certain kind of vehicles and upper level drivers. Now, I'm not that level, but what a beautiful lake. So cool. Even though the uphill has the right of way, not sure there's anywhere to pull off up there, so I'm pulled off so that this guy can come past. And he's going as slow as I was going, so it takes a little while. That's okay. Views are worth it. We're at Hurricane Pass, 12,700 feet. And it's raining and hailing again. Gladstone. Well, looky here. This road ain't the worst ever. It looks beautiful. So that's Gladstone. Back to Silverton. I made it to the end of the Alpine Loop. Got a sign here that is talking about the Alpine Loop. Man, that was difficult and challenging and all the words like that, and also breathtaking and spectacular. And you know, with the rain, kind of made it a little bit of a white-knuckle kind of situation. And nervous about my vehicle, but it made it. 2022 Jeep Grand Cherokee with some new tires. Really proud of it. So, okay, we basically are back in Silverton, and we are gonna head south towards Durango, which is not in San Juan County, but that's basically the only road that we can explore. Kind of, I mean, there's other roads way back in there, like we were driving on, but what I've shown you is kind of what you can drive around in San Juan County. So I think there's a little scenic route heading south, and that'll take us to the end of our trip. Heading south out of Silverton, there are no other towns in the county, so we're gonna take this road that looks pretty scenic all the way to the southern edge of San Juan County. Hey, thanks for making it all the way to the end of that video. And since you're here, let me tell you a little bit more about the extras on the channel. One of the first things you can do is become a member. There are 3 levels of support. There's supporter, producer, and executive producer levels. All 3 have different levels of fun incentives and perks. If you haven't done so, please check out travelwiththewiseguy.com. There are lots of extras on there to explore. One of them is merchandise. We have Travel with the Wiseguy coffee mugs, Death Go Round t-shirts, hoodies, hats, and all sorts of fun things to show your support of this channel. Also on the website is a custom Google map. I've dropped pins in every place I've visited and linked the episode to each location. This seems to be a very popular feature for many of you. Also, sign up for my free newsletter that goes out about once a month. There are all sorts of links and tidbits on this page, old videos, podcasts, and just about everything I can think of I throw on the website. Get all that information on travelwithawiseguy.com. Now we're done.
Oh, thank you, tires.